I was proposed to like 3 different times on my mission. Once was a homeless man who proposed to all 3 of us and asked us to be his sister wives. So that was a little bit less. None of them were really serious, but that was the least serious of the proposals. But yeah, definitely. My brothers warned me before I left. They said that all the sisters in all of their missions always got hit on by guys, and I thought that was so silly because I never got hit on by guys before my mission. So why would I get hit on by guys on my mission? But it's like this weird, the spirit is so strong that it always seemed like men who didn't have the gospel were like, oh, there's something different about these women. And so they would like come talk to us and ask us to go get drinks with them and to come over for pizza. And I always felt like it was more the spirit than anything else. And I remember I was so excited because I'd been praying that someone would come talk to us and we would be able to get someone's number and give them a card. And I'd been praying so hard, and some guys in a parking lot started talking to us one day, and I was so excited. I was all jazzed as we were driving away. And then they called us as we were driving home, so we pulled over to answer the phone. And they asked us to go out with them to some bar. And I was so crushed. It was one of my first weeks in the mission. And I was so upset. I was like, what? I really thought that they wanted to hear about the gospel. I was so excited. And so learning that sometimes the guys who talked to us just wanted to talk to us and didn't want to learn about the gospel, I had to learn how to not get super disappointed every time that happened. But it was nice when we were in it, because I never served in a young single adult ward. So most of the time we could make an appointment with them, send the elders, and if they let the elders in, then they were serious. And if they were disappointed and said that they wanted us, then we knew that they were a little bit less serious about it. So definitely not getting too upset when that happens. I would definitely suggest that. As far as packing goes, if anyone's leaving not in the wintertime, they don't need to buy a coat. Just wait until you get out there, because it's big and bulky and takes up space, and depending on the area you're in, you may not even need a coat, because you need one in Dumas, but more southern. It iced one time in Midland. It got cold a couple of times, but it was never really snowy or anything. So a big coat isn't really necessary until you know where you are for the winter, because sometimes you just don't even need it, and you can get them cheap at different thrift stores and things like that. So that was nice. I'd say, at least in Midland, to avoid apartment complexes at night. They're a little bit sketchier at night. Sometimes we had to, because it was just where we had to go. But we tried our best to avoid those once it was dark out, especially ones that were in sketchier areas or ones that had a lot of construction, because the construction workers were always around, and we always had trouble with construction workers catcalling and things like that, and made us uncomfortable. So we tried to avoid that at night. As far as emotional well-being, comp inventory always feels really awkward. I never really liked comp inventory, but it was always really helpful. I had companions where it worked really well, and we actually talked about things and we brought things up. And I had companions where you could tell that there was a problem, but no one wanted to talk about it. And then the problem never got solved, and we left the companionship still upset with each other. And that wasn't good for the work. It wasn't good for us. So I definitely, the mission isn't a place where you can hold those emotions in. You can't put them on the back burner and deal with them later, because if you're not in line with your companion, it's a lot harder to teach. It's a lot harder to feel the spirit and know where you need to go. And you waste so much time bickering or disagreeing that you could miss someone. So I'm a big believer in comp inventory. Even though I wasn't always the best at it, I always tried, because it's the only way you're going to get through it. You have to be with your companions all day, every day. If you're not getting along with them, what's the point? Even if you don't. There are companions that I know I could tell I wouldn't really be friends with them if I had met them any other way. But we were there together 24/7, sleeping next to each other, eating with each other, teaching with each other. Why not get along? And so now some of them are some of my best friends. So it changes. I guess another thing that I struggle, I had really bad anxiety. And so sometimes it was hard for me to accept that I was going to have bad days. And that's the thing for any missionary, but especially for me, I was going to have days that I just didn't feel good or close to the Spirit or wanting to do things. And there would be no reason for it. And I worked anyway, and I had to push through it. But it was hard for me to accept, because in my head, I was thinking, if I was closer to the Spirit, if I was doing what the Lord asked me to do, then I wouldn't feel this way. But I was doing what the Lord asked me to do, and I was still feeling that way. So it was hard for me to figure out that middle ground of, okay, this is the thing, this is how you feel, and that's okay. As long as you keep working, as long as you don't give up, it's okay that you feel this way right now, because you won't later. And just working through it and talking to my companions when I was feeling anxious or sad or anything. You can't just ignore depression and anxiety on a mission. You kind of got to deal with it, or else it's going to take you down.